watching. Want next part, subscribe the channel and turn on notification bell.